It is the most shallow sea on Earth. In certain areas, one could walk for miles offshore, and the water would barely reach chest height. This sounds innocuous, almost comical, yet this sea is anything but safe. It is stagnant, volatile, and beneath its murky surface, entire cities have vanished. So why would the planet's shallowest sea be among the most perilous locations to establish a civilization? This is the Sea of Azov, a small, enclosed body of water connected to the Black Sea. Shallow, obscure, and easily overlooked. The ancient Greeks, however, did not overlook it. They referred to it as the Mayan swamp, viewing it not as a sea, but as a trap. The true issue with the Sea of Azov isn't its depth. It's what lies beneath. Mud, gas, and unstable ground that behaves more like fluid than solid earth. For millennia, people settled its shores, conducted trade, built cities, and placed their trust in the ground beneath them, only to be betrayed. If a sea is this shallow, what kind of disaster could it possibly conceal? If such narratives captivate you, subscribe, because the most perilous places are seldom the deepest. Compared to the Mariana Trench, the Sea of Azov appears almost trivial, with a depth of merely 7 to 14 meters. That is its extent. No crushing pressure, no abyssal darkness. However, shallow water does not guarantee stable ground. Beneath the Sea of Azov, no solid bedrock exists. Instead, there's a thick layer of compressed, saturated clay, silt, and organic material, poised for movement. This sea experiences poor circulation. Fresh water flows in from rivers, sediment accumulates, and the seabed becomes soft. When the bottom is soft, land becomes ephemeral. The ancients recognized this. They distrusted it. They feared it. They believed it to be the edge of the world, a place where solid ground could dissolve without warning. Here, the Sea of Azov becomes truly peculiar. This region features mud volcanoes, not lava, but mud. Gray sludge is forced upwards by subterranean pressure, and methane gas is trapped beneath layers of clay. When pressure becomes excessive, the ground ruptures. These eruptions offer no warning. No smoke, no tremors. They explode upward from the seabed, forming islands that emerge from the water and disappear months later. Locals describe the sea boiling, bubbling violently. When significant amounts of gas are released, the water's density changes. Ships lose buoyancy, not sinking due to storms, but dropping silently straight down. This is not mere theory. It has happened. On the shores of the Sea of Azov once stood Phanagoria, a monumental ancient Greek city, a capital and a trade hub on the Silk Road. Today, nearly a third of it lies submerged. Divers have unearthed wooden sarcophagi, perfectly preserved coins, and massive marble statues. This was not an impoverished settlement. It was a center of power. Yet it sank, not from a tsunami, nor from rising oceans. The ground simply gave way. The unstable mud beneath the city liquefied. Buildings tilted, collapsed, and slid into the sea. The Sea of Azov did not merely flood the city. It swallowed it whole. If an entire capital vanished without a dramatic catastrophe, how many other settlements disappeared without leaving a name? Now, the sea is undergoing another transformation. Rivers that once fed it are being dammed and diverted. Freshwater inflow is diminishing. Salinity is rising. Fish populations are plummeting, and entire ecosystems are collapsing. Something else is proliferating. Jellyfish, millions of them, in such density that the water turns white and purple, so thick that swimming becomes impossible. These are invasive species, not indigenous to the area. They flourish where ecosystems falter and balance is lost. The Sea of Azov is evolving into a different kind of dead sea, not lifeless, but suffocating. A gelatinous biomass soup. The Sea of Azov is shrinking, slowly, inexorably. As fresh water disappears, Salt accumulates, mud volcanoes increase, and sinkholes form, further destabilizing the ground. Some scientists believe this sea could partially dry up, transforming into a salt flat, much like the Aral Sea. When this occurs, what lies beneath will be exposed. Ancient foundations, collapsed cities, layers of history compressed into mud. The ancients believed this was the edge of the world, a place where land could vanish. Today, we are witnessing that belief materialize. There's a final detail about the Sea of Azov that rarely attracts attention. Not because it's unimportant, but because it doesn't fit neatly into charts or maps. The seabed here isn't merely unstable, it is layered with memory. Geologists are aware that this region has repeatedly collapsed and reformed over thousands of years. Sediment upon sediment, mud upon mud, each layer sealing the one beneath it. However, archaeologists have observed something else. Artifacts appear and then disappear again. Sites are exposed briefly, only to be reburied by shifting earth and water. It's as if the Sea of Azov doesn't reveal history all at once. It unveils it in fleeting fragments and then reclaims it. This fosters a dangerous illusion that what we see is all that ever existed. But in places like this, absence doesn't signify emptiness. It signifies compression. Entire chapters of human activity may be sealed beneath meters of sediment, not destroyed, not erased, merely unreachable. This is why the ancients feared this region, not because it was violent, but because it was unreliable. One could build a city here, prosper here, trade here for generations, and then one day the ground would soften, the shoreline would shift, and the city would no longer belong to the land. No fire, no invasion, no clear catastrophe. Just silence. Modern science explains this through geology, liquefaction, sediment compaction, and hydrological change. All true, but explanations do not negate consequences. When land behaves like a liquid, history becomes temporary. The Sea of Azov doesn't merely threaten the future, it destabilizes the past, and that may be its most unsettling characteristic. Not that it destroys civilizations, but that it conceals them so thoroughly we forget they ever existed. The Sea of Azov appears harmless, too shallow to fear, too insignificant to matter. But shallow does not equate to safe. This sea consumes slowly, silently, without spectacle. It swallows cities, obliterates trade routes, destabilizes ecosystems, and reminds us of an uncomfortable truth. History doesn't always conclude in fire or waves. Sometimes it concludes in mud. The Sea of Azov is a warning, a vivid illustration of how swiftly land can transform into water, and how readily civilizations trust the wrong ground. For the most dangerous places on Earth are not the deepest ones. They are the ones that appear solid, until they no longer are. And if this particular sea can vanish, how many others have already met the same fate?